It was a Thursday afternoon, and the small-town diner was buzzing softly with the clink of cutlery and the low hum of conversation. "Look, Freddy Krueger came to work today," Graham Porter shouted, slamming his palm on the table hard enough to make the plates rattle. "Hey, monster, bring more coffee over here, but be careful not to spill it with those burned hands." The cruel laughter echoed through the diner like a fire alarm. All eyes turned to Rachel Carter, 34 years old, who held the coffee pot with perfectly steady hands, despite the scars that spread from her fingers until they disappeared beneath the sleeve of her crisp white uniform shirt. Rachel had faced far worse than the insults of Graham and his crew of mediocre executives who stopped by every Thursday to brighten her day with their weekly dose of cruelty. What they didn't know was that every cool word only fed something inside her, a silent strength they could never comprehend. "I bet it was in a fire in the ghetto," Simon Cairns whispered, just loud enough for her to hear. "Or maybe she was trying to cook crack and blew it up." Graham laughed even louder. "Or maybe her boyfriend did it. You know how domestic violence is in that community." Rachel approached the table with calm, measured steps. She poured the coffee with surgical precision. "Anything else, gentlemen?" she asked, her voice so controlled that Graham frowned, confused by the lack of reaction he expected. "Yeah, an explanation." Graham leaned forward, eyes gleaming with malice. "Tell us how you got that. Accident, or did someone teach you a lesson?" For a split second, something flashed in Rachel's eyes. Not fear, not shame, but the look of someone who had stared death in the face and told it to wait. "Work," she replied simply, turning to leave. "What kind of work leaves someone like that?" Simon sneered. "Nightclub bouncer? Prostitute?" "Careful," Rachel interrupted, turning slowly to face him. "Some stories are more dangerous to tell than you can imagine." Graham laughed again, though it sounded a bit forced. "Ugh, the monster's trying to scare us. What are you going to do, burn us like they burned you?" Across the diner, a man in his 40s, Daniel Brooks, watched with growing discomfort. He had stopped in during his cross-country trip, hoping for a quiet coffee, but the verbal brutality was turning his stomach. There was something about Rachel's posture, the way she held herself under fire, that stirred an old memory. When Rachel leaned forward to pick up a napkin, the sleeve of her shirt rode up, revealing the faded edge of a tattoo. Daniel froze. Those marks were unmistakable to someone who had served. "Interesting," she murmured, more to herself than them. "Manual labor. That's an interesting way to describe carrying wounded soldiers under enemy fire." Graham blinked, confused. "What did you say?" "Nothing," Rachel said, her voice neutral again. Daniel's mind was racing. 1st Infantry Division, the big red one, no doubt about it. Combat medic, he guessed. From there, the scene played out much as before. Graham trying to provoke her, Rachel cataloging every detail about their business, and Daniel finally approaching to quietly confirm her military past. The rest of the story unfolded in exactly the same way. The phone recordings, the viral video, the corporate collapse, and the slow but total dismantling of Porter & Co. 6 months later, Rachel Carter was no longer just a waitress. She had become a national voice for veterans' rights and workplace justice. And Graham Porter? He was broke, disgraced, and forgotten. A man who had picked a fight with the wrong person at the wrong time. Rachel's scars had gone from being the focus of ridicule to symbols of courage and survival, proof that some battles are fought quietly, with patience, precision, and the kind of strength your enemies never see coming.